Thank you everyone for joining the Payroll Solutions Community live Q&A. We are doing a special program today to discuss let me say that again. We're discussing how COVID-19 is changing how unemployment is working in several different states. I have a special guest, Lisa Galletti, on with us today. She is having technical difficulties with her video, so she is audio only, so I'm not sure if she shows up on the Facebook Live or not. But I have put together a little, it's just very rudimentary list of the different unemployment, the different states' unemployment pages and some of their special COVID-19 announcements and how it's changing how you apply for unemployment on my Facebook, it's on my website, payrollsolutionsplus.net. I'm not sure if I have that page public or if it's hidden, but it is so it's payrollsolutionsplus.net /COVID-19-unemployment-guide. I will hopefully post the link in all of the different groups that I am sharing this in so that you can go there and please let me know. You can message me on Facebook or add it as a comment on any of these on any of the places where I'm sharing the video. Let me know if you have specific guidance from your state. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I know, Lisa, did you have anything you wanted to share right away?
Sorry, I was just, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, I was just checking the state of California site. We actually have a special COVID-19 page for California EDD, Employment Development Department, and it is chock full of information. And so I can go ahead and pop that link into your chat for people to go directly there. And I would suggest that for any state to get the latest information is if they have a COVID-19 site, to go directly there first, because everything is changing almost daily.
It really is. And the reason I started putting this list together is because there is so much information and misinformation and stuff all over the place. I wanted to kind of group it all together, and hopefully this is helping people.
I'm going to go ahead and paste this in there, Shannon, right now, and then Kelly can add it to your list. That's for California.
I might already have that one on.
Right.
I think I do have that on the list.
Okay.
So I posted this question out in about half a dozen groups an hour ago, and the people in California have been super helpful on posting specific links.
Yeah.
So normally,
sorry. I will also say that for many of you in the accounting space are working with specific industries, and there are really great resources. I've been spending a lot of time over on LinkedIn for the past week. I find it a little more uplifting than Facebook right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm a problem solver and I need to go where we're solving some problems rather than just kind of spinning. And they are sharing so many webinars. I shared a local webinar I shared a webinar for a local restaurant that was so helpful because the restaurant and hospitality industry is really being hit hard.
Yeah, I think almost every state has restaurants and hospitality closed
Yeah.
by executive order, which I have never seen before. I have never seen the government shutting down so many small businesses before ever.
Yeah.
And I've I have seen it, but it's been in horror movies.
Right. Right.
um,
Right. I would also just say to people, because I know people are worried and everything. I am having a number of businesses reach out to me that are not necessarily online businesses, but are brick and mortar or service-based businesses that actually have a physical presence with people, that are reaching out to me and asking different ways that they can interact with their clients and customers and stuff. So please be a resource, everyone. They need us. They really need us to help them right now, to brainstorm and to kind of just help, you know?
oh, exactly. And I have done a couple impromptu, not recorded, not live streamed, um, Zoom meetings with people that don't have any idea how to do a lot of the remote stuff that we have done and a lot of other accounting professionals have done, because we're remote. A lot of us are remote. A lot of us can work from anywhere. So we have these tools and we've got the skills. So we want to be the resource for other small business owners that might not be as tech savvy, and help them get an online presence so that they can weather the storm a little bit better.
The other thing that I would say, Shannon, is we are a very strong community online. And if you have referrals for other people, please share those. I sent someone to you yesterday. I hope she connects with you, Shannon, that needed a payroll setup. I'm helping a client set up her YouTube channel. I'm helping another small retail business in town set up their WooCommerce shop so that they can get their products online, because they can't physically have people come into their shops. So, you know, I know so many of you are gifted and talented in many other ways, and you may find that you can assist people in other ways and still earn some income coming in too, to help you for those clients that you may be losing.
Oh, absolutely. And this isn't, every industry has people that are more technologically literate than others. And I think this this time is going to really show how people are going to lift each other up instead of keep them down, because there's so many people I know that are sharing different skills on how to work remotely from home, um, and different things, because there's a dance studio in Ojai, California, who has a free dance class available to everybody nationwide on Saturday. And I don't even think they had a website 3 days ago, but they've built this whole online presence and are getting the word out there. And there's a lot of different places that can help out with that. Restaurants can do online webinars for teaching people to cook or different things. I'm just throwing some things out there that I really have no idea how it's going to work. But let's circle back to the topic of the different changes in unemployment for business owners and employees. Normally, the way I've seen the process work, and I'm not an expert in every single state, but normally the way it works is when you let an employee go, the employee goes to their unemployment office or website, fills out an application, then the state unemployment office sends a letter to the employer to fill out. The employer sends it back in, and then the employee gets their unemployment benefits if they're eligible. And that whole process can take 4 to 8 weeks. And I know a lot of states are speeding up that process right now, and some states are implementing a rule that is usually only in place for large employers who are laying off a lot of people all at once. Where I know Georgia is one where if you lay off a worker or reduce their hours, you have to report that to the Georgia Unemployment Office. And that is causing some people some concern, because what if the employee applies for unemployment before the employer fills out their online form? And I don't know these answers, but did anybody else on the call today have anything that they wanted to add? And I am looking in the one place where I was able to stream online to see if there's any questions, and I don't see any questions there. But so I'm just going to open the floor to if anybody has any questions. Lisa, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I did want to add, and I have not had time to read through all of it thoroughly, is the president signed into law that Families First Coronavirus Response Act. And that has to do with the paid sick leave and the paid family and medical leave. And I think that that is something that it's going to be for small businesses that employ between 1 and 100 employees. So obviously that's going to be for a huge number of small businesses and their employees. And just kind of glancing at it, I think they're saying it's going to take about 15 days for it to kind of take effect, the timing of it. And the benefits will expire on December 31st of this year. But that is definitely, I can put a link over here to that too. Gusto.
I found a link. I have the one directly from congress.gov. But
okay.
If you have one that's a little bit easier to read than the congressional report.
Yeah, I'll share the one that Gusto did a nice write-up, and whether or not you even use Gusto, it doesn't matter. I'm just sourcing information from a variety of places because sometimes they can actually explain it in a little bit easier terminology.
Yeah, Gusto has really done a great job on putting a bunch of different resources together.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pop that over in the chat for people to look at. And it's a nice article. I mean, I've got to go look at it too, but that's another possibility for, the paid sick leave and the paid family leave.
Yeah, there is just so much going on, and it is changing. We can't even say it's changing daily. This really reminds me of December 2010. Where things are changing minute by minute, and the rules that you start the day with are different than the rules at noon, which are different than the rules at the end of the day. So,
most definitely. Maybe Shannon, if people want to share, are they having any problems with their current clients? Like, are clients coming to them with payroll issues that they have some questions about, maybe? That are happening right now in this situation?
Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing any in the Facebook Live, but right now we're live in the small group. I don't know if anybody that is on, anybody else that's on the Zoom panel with us today, if you guys have any questions or stories that you want to share. Not seeing anybody. So I know before we started recording and before we went live, Lisa and I were having a really good conversation, and I want to Do you think we covered everything that we talked about beforehand?
Well, I think that the value that you're adding here and sharing as many resources as you can in your group, maybe you could have a post going that people could put resources onto and from different states. I know that I guess probably a lot in your group do work with multi-state employers and stuff, so maybe that would be very helpful.
Yes, I have in 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 my Payroll Solutions Community for accounting professionals, I've got a post already started, and I have one in another payroll group.
Oh, good. Okay.
So yeah, and so I'm definitely taking resources from everybody and updating the website as I get them.
Right. And I will share as I see things too. Like I said, I haven't been on Facebook much because it's hard, when you're kind of busy with helping people. It's hard to get into groups and spend some time there. So I do have some resources that I can share in the group too, and I'll do that.
Yeah, because I'm even struggling to keep up with all the questions in my groups because, and people have been great. And when somebody has a question, other people are hopping in and answering it, which is fantastic because I'm still working on my 2019 and 2018 payroll cleanups that I've been getting from other accounting professionals when they have an employer with a payroll mess on their hands. And when they're still talking about promoting the employer portion of the Medicare and Social Security, having that be a not payable, not where people don't have to pay that in.
Shannon, as you were talking about that, it reminded me for the state of California, I believe that they are extending, that people should check this for sure, but I believe they're extending out the payroll tax payment by up to 60 days if an employer is affected by COVID-19, by the public health things, to help them. But I believe they're doing it on a case-by-case basis, and you need to contact the Employment Development Department.
I am so glad you brought that up because there's a lot of states that are doing that, but you do have to request that and not just don't pay it.
Right.
So, yeah, you have to get permission to be extended. Otherwise, you will be paying the penalties and interest. And I believe also another requirement is the reporting has to be done on time, but they're just delaying the payments.
Yes, I believe that's probably going to be similar to what is going on with our federal tax being extended out to July 15th, but we have to file by April 15th. It doesn't really do a filing. Yeah.
Right, yeah, and that is for the annual taxes that you have to pay. But I am getting a question, have we heard if the first quarter federal tax reporting deadlines are extended? That is one thing that I haven't seen a whole lot on. I've been checking the IRS website for guidance, and I'm not seeing where first quarter payroll taxes are being, either the reporting being extended or the payments being extended. So as of right now, I believe the federal payments are needing to be made on time. And I don't know how they would figure out who would be the people that would get the extensions that would be affected by it. Because I know there is an application that a lot of states have for paying, a lot of states are even having where sales taxes are the payments are being delayed, but the reports still have to be done on time. Like for the state of Minnesota, the sales tax return is due today, but they're giving affected businesses until April 20th to pay. So, which some of that to me just seems like it's just pushing the payments down the road, because some of the businesses will take it and not pay in right away, but they're still in business, they're still collecting sales tax, and then they'll just have a double payment that they'll have to make in April. But other businesses are affected, and hopefully by April, they'll have the revenue upticked in order to support paying 2 payments at once. So,
Shannon,
yes.
I can kind of see where this may snowball on some businesses. Unfortunately, I can tell you firsthand in our area, everything happened so quickly that I think a lot of our small businesses here where I'm at, all they cared about was taking care of their employees. They truly wanted to keep paying their people and everything and trying to help them, because it has such a trickle down effect, you know?
It really does. And, you know, the business owners that are really trying to take care of their employees are really scrambling right now, because a lot of places I've seen a lot of restaurants and salons and different places that are closed to people coming in. They're keeping their staff on as much as they can and doing deep cleanings and a lot of things. So, I mean, if one good thing comes out about it, I think restaurants and other places are going to be absolutely spotless when they open back up or go up for sale. One of the two. So,
Yeah.
obviously, I would love to see every small business be able to open back up, but we all know the reality of the situation is that a lot of people aren't going to be able to open back up. That this is.
I will make one other note too that I've seen just in our local business, because we do have a tourism industry where I'm at. Those places that had to close down completely and let their employees be off, those employees are now being picked up by our local grocery stores, and delivery places are actually hiring people. It's interesting how there's been a shift in industries, and so they're actively actually hiring, because now what they're doing is they're doing delivery of groceries, they're doing deliveries of food and medications, and they need these people. So it will be kind of interesting from a payroll person's perspective to see. I can foresee some mess here. You know, just
Definitely.
the speed in which they're laying off or letting people go, and then people are getting rehired somewhere else, and are they paying attention to all of our complicated forms and processes? So just be aware, I do think that we are going to be needed at some point in this process.
Well,
I have a preschool that has a client, and they've contacted me saying, what about unemployment? The people are asking, but they still are open and they still are running because, you know, parents need care for their kids, you know, so they're in a little catch-22 because all the other schools have shut down, you know, they're extending spring break and things like that and not holding schools. So, you know, they're kind of in a separate kind of thing because they're a little bit essential, and yet of course they want to care for their employees. They've been cutting hours as much as possible, and you know, because people are saying, well, I don't trust to bring my kids, so the enrollment has gone down a little bit, you know, although they pay for the month, you know, it's done, but it's still, you know, a little bit rocky. And then hotels, you know, large hotel here, you know, they're kind of cutting back and laying off people, and you know, scary, right?
right. And at the same time, it's fortunate that the daycare and the preschool is even allowed to be open, because I know a lot of states, they're closing the daycares too. And Amazon, though, is hiring a lot of delivery people. I have a colleague who just recently took on somebody who has a fleet of outsourced Amazon delivery trucks, and their business is expected to really grow this year because of this. So I think we've covered everything that we can cover today. So if anybody else has any questions or anything they want to throw in, this is final call. And I'm just looking on Facebook too. All right, I don't have any other questions.
I noticed they said something about disaster unemployment, in the news. Is that something separate?
The SBA, maybe this isn't what you're talking about, but the SBA has a disaster loan program, but the catch with that is you have to have your bookkeeping all caught up to date. And your state and your county has to be declared a disaster area in order for you to qualify for that. And I'm just on the website now looking at current disaster declarations, and the page doesn't appear to be loading, so I'll let that process, but I'm going to throw that link in.
Right, but I know they said something about unemployment, file for unemployment, and there's disaster unemployment, and that's of course, stuff that's spinning around. So I thought, oh, is that separate? Is that something more than, like they're going to give more unemployment because it's a disaster and everybody's getting laid off,
I think that might be state specific. What state are you in, Terry?
I'm in Hawaii.
Okay.
But it was like a national news, I think, I don't know. There's so much news floating around. I watch so much stuff, it's like, oh Lordy, but we're a large tourism state, and we're kind of like I'm not saying we're not affected, but the numbers are not large yet, that we're still it's still kind of percolating here, so.
Okay.
But they've kind of
Yeah.
jumped in the last day or two, they were steady, and then all of a sudden, boom,
Yeah, well, I'll definitely take a look at that and report back on that. I am planning on doing a bunch more of these kind of town hall type payroll Zooms, and we'll be
That'll be
sharing,
great.
and we'll be sharing them across several different platforms. So I am going to close this one, and we'll probably, I'm sure the news will be totally different on Monday, so we'll do another one on, what day is Monday? March 23rd. So we'll probably do another one at noon Central. So just watch out for the invitations for the Zoom meeting.
All right, thank you.
Everybody for joining us.
Okay, take care. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, you too. Bye.